Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
The Larry Kudlow Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back, folks. We continue our discussions on the Iranian war and the incredible importance of success by President Trump and our allies in Israel. We welcome back to the show dear friend, Ambassador Robert O'Brien, former National Security Advisor and currently Chairman of American Global Strategies. Robert, thank you for doing this once again. You've been so helpful on the TV show and here on the radio. So, talking to General Keane and, of course, listening to President Trump talk about unconditional surrender, there's another bombing mission, big bombing mission, brewing with American planes parked in our bases in England. But essentially, Iran is defenseless, as I understand it. They are simply defenseless here. So, how long can this continue before they take Trump's advice and lay down their arms, or just the regime will all be completely killed? What is there an end game here that we should envision?
Larry, thank you for having me on. I think the important thing for us to realize here is it's not going to be an overnight situation. This regime is a radical regime. They're extremists. They are committed to their cause. They will lose. They're losing now big time. But we faced a fanatic regime like this in Japan at the end in 1944-45. They clearly lost the war, but it took the Hiroshima and Nagasaki to convince the emperor to lay down his arms. I'm not in any way suggesting that there's a nuclear option here. I think that's the reason we're fighting the war, is to avoid a nuclear situation. But it's going to take some time and effort to convince these extremists to lay down their arms. Now, one thing President Trump is not going to do is I don't think he's going to put a large ground force on. So when you attempt to win a war with a naval and air bombardment, it just takes longer. And so we've got to be patient. We are going to win. They are defenseless, and these extremists are going to have to come to the conclusion that there's no other alternative than laying down their arms. That will happen. It just may take a little bit of time.
One other thing that Jack Keane mentioned, which I thought was very interesting, is Israel is kind of cleaning out all these local militias, who are appendages to the Revolutionary Guards and their headquarters in Iran, which, command and control is getting slaughtered right now. But there's the pockets of militias around. I think he said there are 32 locations, but one of the things that Israel is doing is cleaning them out, going right for them. So it's going to make, some regime change easier. I hadn't thought about that, Robert O'Brien.
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
LifeLock, how can I help? The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Yeah, it's a brilliant strategy by the Israelis, and the Israelis are doing what they did in Gaza. They're targeting the leadership at the local and then the brigade level, at the local level. They're sending text messages to the Iranian people to let them know where they're going to hit and when they're going to hit to avoid civilian casualties and avoid a backlash and a rally around the flag, response in Iran. But think about it, Larry. Every police station in every city in Iran is at risk from Israeli attack.
Right.
So the prevention of vice and promotion of virtue police, the Baji, the Guard, all the local gathering spots are they're watering holes. Every one of them is a risk from an Israeli attack. And so that will help expedite this, the surrender that the president has called for.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, what are the odds and what's the timing? Do you think they'll actually lay down their arms, as the President Trump is requesting, in order to get immunity? I mean, when he said unconditional surrender, I mean, I like that. I think that's great. Basically, he's saying to them, you've got two options here. You're going to get killed, or you're going to lay down your arms and get some kind of immunity. There's no deal making left in this war. So, I mean, that's a morale buster, I would guess. I mean, that should shake them up, but I don't know how these people are crazy. So it's hard for me to get in their heads.
Well, I think you're right, Larry, 100%. And but I think as we and the Israelis continue to take out the command and control of the national leadership in Iran and degrade them, then the local leaders who are going to be faced with the people in the uprising, and they know if they don't lay down their weapons and ask for immunity now from the U.S. and protection from the U.S., the local Iranians who they've been killing, in massive amounts. I mean, they killed 40,000 people just a couple of weeks ago. They're going to want revenge, and so I think once we take out the national leadership, the moral, the state and local leadership, so to speak, is going to want to make peace with their neighbors and not be killed. So I think we've got a couple more weeks, and people need to be patient, and we need to continue to degrade the national leadership. Degrade their capabilities we've degraded their capabilities to defend against us. Now we need to degrade their capabilities to defend against their own people.
Yeah, good point. Last one, the old OPIC, what is it? The Development Finance Corp's going to, reinsure the oil tankers. I think this is very cool. And the Navy can help get them through. Robert, this is something from the show yesterday with the Besant, and I talked about it this morning. I'd like to see a whole string of, super tankers go through the Strait of Hormuz. With Navy, fine, but they're being reinsured now by this Development Finance Corporation from our government. Show the world that oil can pass through. And I think it would take the heat off the oil prices.
No, it will. The other effect it will have, it may move the insurance market. Lloyd's has traditionally done that, but the British Navy is no longer in a position to help shipping and be a partner to Lloyd's. So if we start doing this with DFC and American companies, we would move a major financial market to New York or Washington, D.C., and that would be great for the economy as well. So, we'll have to see how that plays out. But the key is making sure that the tankers, many of which are going to China, actually pay. We don't want to do this service for China for free and move their oil out.
Oh, right.
And
good
so
point.
we need to make sure that they actually pay their premiums. But if they pay their premiums, and we're making money off it, then the U.S. Navy should escort the ships. And I think they'll be able to do so without too much problem, because the Iranian plan to close the Strait of Hormuz was to use the Iranian Navy and IRGC speedboats to plant mines, and you use their aircraft to plant mines, but they've got no aircraft left and they've got no Navy. So their ability to close the Strait of Hormuz is going to be very limited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting excited about that. But you're right about China. No more discounts, right? You're going to pay market value, whatever that happens to be.
Yeah, and we're not going to escort Ghost Fleet ships,
right.
to take sanction busting oil. We're going to escort, Chevron and Aramco and legitimate companies that are selling oil at market prices, and the Chinese will have to pay the premiums to the DFC for their insurance. And if that all happens, then that's great. Let's keep the international flow of oil going.
Love that. Thank you, Ambassador Robert O'Brien, dear friend, former National Security Advisor, now the chairman of American Global Strategies. I'm Kudlow, former Israeli intelligence and security expert. Aaron Cohn coming up next here. Please stick around, folks. Much more.
The Larry Kudlow Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our country has to offer, especially health care. Across every state, every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.